Hello and welcome to What's Cooking Rutland. I'm Bethany Yon. I'm a nutritionist at the Vermont Department of Health and part of Rutland's Nutrition Coalition that brings you this show each month. And it's December. I'm not quite sure how we got to the end of the year already. Yikes. And joining me this December this year is Donna Hunt, yay, my pal, registered dietitian at the, thank goodness it's on the screen,
Rutland Diabetes and Endocrinology Center.
Phew! So it's kind of sort of our thing that when Donna and I do a show together, we have to talk about vegetables. And so it seemed fitting to weave vegetables into the theme for December because, well, last month in November it was about vegetables and winter vegetables and knife skills, which was great fun. So we're going to practice a few of those knife skills. For me, always good to practice. But this is December. It's a month of cookies and parties and nuts and candy
and lots of excessive everything.
Yes, exactly.
Except for the vegetables.
Except for vegetables, right.
They sort of get lost in the sauce.
They do get lost in the sauce, so haha, that was really funny. We're going to hide them in the sauce this time.
I really did not mean that.
Yeah, but it works perfectly.
Sort of fell right into that.
It did, you did. It worked perfectly. So yes, so we are. Don't forget your veggies during the month of December, as well as your fruits, because they tend to fall by the wayside. So we're going to sneak some vegetables into some places that you might not otherwise think about having them. And we don't have a bazillion vegetables here in the kitchen in front of us because we are just sneaking things into some different recipes. So we're going to play with some pumpkin and work some pumpkin into some stuffed shells. We're also going to revisit, do you remember my friend Miles in September with our back to school show? So Miles and I did some really fun back to school, after school snacks, and one of those was Pizza Palooza was our thing. And so we made our own tomato sauce. And so we're going to revisit Miles's tomato sauce recipe, but we're going to add a whole lot more veggies to it. So this is going to be a way of sneaking some more veggies into what's going to be the tomato sauce that goes with the pumpkin ricotta stuffed shells. So we'll get through that, get some stuff in the oven, and then because there is, it's December, we need to do something kind of holiday. So gingerbread pancakes, but we're going to sneak a little pumpkin into those gingerbread pancakes and then also make that fruit sauce that we've made in the past that we just love so much. So that's our show for today. I think we'll get there. We will. We always do, or most of the time we do.
We do.
So we're going to start with the pumpkin shells because they would need to go into the oven. I've actually already cooked the jumbo shells ahead of time because who wants to watch pasta cook and water boil kind of thing?
Yeah,
so we've got some, they've drained pretty well, some jumbo shells here that have cooked. This particular brand was like 10 minutes. They hold up pretty well, so they're nice and sturdy. And Donna is working on assembling the filling.
Putting the filling
together. And so as she works on filling, I'm actually going to take a stab at the sauce because I think we're going to line the bottom of this pan with tomato sauce. So we're going to need it before we can stuff shells.
Okay. And I'm looking at this thinking that that is probably about 12 ounces.
It's probably pretty close. Yeah, it's probably pretty close. So with Miles' recipe, if you remember right, it was super simple. It really is a can of this and a can of that. So it's a can of tomato sauce and a can of tomato paste. And I've gone with two versions here that are no salt added because we're just going to season this recipe with so many other things. So we're just going to dump an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce into a bowl. That's the basic piece. And I think I'm going to need a different spoon to pull the tomato paste, again a no salt added version out.
And I'm going to squeeze in here
You
for a little spoon.
certainly may.
Ricotta in the pumpkin, that wouldn't be good.
Yeah, that's
So over here, I have done 1.5 cups of the ricotta cheese, and then 3/4 cup of real pumpkin. And just be very careful when you're buying pumpkin that you're getting pureed pumpkin, not pumpkin pie filling.
Right.
I
Yeah.
made that
It's such.
mistake one time.
Oh, really? Oh my
I
gosh.
just was in a hurry and I just grabbed and ran and I was like, oh man, when I got home and saw what I had.
That's a little disappointing.
Yes.
So I'm just going to get
Back
rid of
to the
tomato from my fingers. And so with this, back to the tomato sauce, let's see, that's going to be you. Then we're just going to season this. So we're going to add a little oregano, a little basil. We used garlic powder to make it really simple back to school, but we can also mince a little garlic. And we added a little carrot as well because the carrot's going to cut into the acidity of the tomato. But we're going to add even more veggies to this. So I've got some shredded zucchini that came out of my freezer. So if you put zucchini into your freezer earlier this fall, this is a great time to take it out. There's not a lot here because a lot of it actually went into chicken soup over the weekend. So I'm just going to go ahead and add this because everything just goes right into this bowl. So that's about a half a cup of shredded zucchini. And I'm just going to squeak around for some seasonings. Some oregano.
And
Some basil, because you're going to need these too, I think. I'm adding about a teaspoon of each.
I am going to do the real garlic
Yay.
versus the garlic powder here.
I know, I think I'm going to do the same. I'm going to chop some real garlic as well. That was a teaspoon of oregano, a teaspoon of basil, and I'm going to grab a clove of garlic as well. Donna just did the smash thing way more politely than I do. But it's so nice when you smash the garlic, the skins just come right off.
They do. And I do not have those incredible knife skills.
Well, neither do
the
I.
chefs
So we're,
do.
yeah, neither do I. But we're gonna chop this garlic up a little bit and then add it to this sauce. I never mind coming across chunks of garlic and things. So we're just gonna add 1 clove to that, and then I need to shred. I'm gonna borrow this box shredder here and shred some carrot old school.
Yeah, and carrots and spinach and any of those vegetables that don't have such a strong flavor are just such great veggie, and zucchini also, such great veggies to just slip into things. And they can add so much moisture also to
Right.
a recipe. Same with the pumpkin also, just real good source of moisture, as well as obviously all of those wonderful vitamins and minerals and fibers and phytonutrients that keeps our immune system strong.
And you know, we were
prevents
chatting
inflammation.
earlier. I mean, I'm never necessarily a huge fan of sneaking vegetables into things. Especially, you know, there are several cookbooks I think out there for kids where you know, like hide and disguise so they don't know what they're eating, and maybe that's okay for some kids, but part of me really wants kids. That's salt.
That is all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Want
Just
kids
making
to
sure.
kind of, you know, learn to love what it is that they are eating. I don't know. What do you hear from folks, Donna, in this area?
Well, it really depends. You know, if you have somebody, whether it be a spouse, whether it be kids, whether it be yourself, whomever, that just really does not like vegetables, it's not a bad thing to sneak them in. I agree with you that with kids, it's a good thing to expose them and let them know what they're eating. But if you've been there and they just are refusing all vegetables, then not a bad thing to
just do that.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Before
Okay.
I add any spinach, I want to just see what this sauce looks like as I stir it together. This sauce is going to go onto the bottom of the pan before we fill these shells.
Okay, always really read the recipe and look at labels. I just did a tablespoon of oregano.
Oh, Oh, okay.
So I'm just going to sneak some of that oregano out.
It'll be all right. There's going to be plenty of other stuff.
2 tablespoons of basil.
I think we could get away with throwing some spinach in here without it being ridiculous. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so this is not looking, so if you were looking to sneak veggies in, that camera shot, this is, a lumpier, so to say, tomato sauce, but it's not like totally looking green. So we're gonna make it a little greener. And again, this is gonna be underneath the shells. So we're just gonna grab some spinach.
Okay, so we've got all the spices in here. We've got the pumpkin, we've got the ricotta, we've got the Parmesan. We've got a lot of oregano.
It's gonna be great.
I rescued a little bit of it out because actually the recipe does not call for any oregano.
And the nice thing about adding some spinach is that when this sauce is feeling really thick, and when it's just kind of wilts in a hot oven, it's going to give off some moisture. So I'm gonna put some sauce in the bottom of your pan here.
Because I'm gonna start stuffing the shells.
And it calls for a cup of sauce, but because we've beefed up with more veggies in here, I'm just gonna put, we'll see what, oh, I think I should just put all of it in, even though it's now definitely more than, right?
We're just gonna lay these.
We're just gonna lay these little babies in here once they're spread out. Oh, this looks really yummy. It smells really good. So yeah, they're just gonna let you just tuck them right in, nestle them down into that
yummy sauce.
yummy sauce. So there was no salt added here because most of the prepared spaghetti sauces or pasta sauces that you're going to find in the market are going to have a lot of salt in them, a lot of sodium, and we didn't add any sugar. So the carrot is what's going to cut into the acidity of the tomato here, as well as just adding that zucchini and spinach. And so again, a lot of the commercial spaghetti sauces that you find in the market just have an awful lot of sugar in them as well. So this is just, you don't need it here, so there are other ways to make this a super flavorful sauce and something that's going to be, pleasant in the palate.
It comes back to read the label, read the label, read the label. See what those ingredients are that are in it, see how much added sugar, which coming soon. And do you know when it goes into effect that labels have to have the added sugar listed?
Oh gosh, I don't know, because I thought my last memory was that the label updates were
put on hold.
Yeah, they were on hold for a bit, so I'm not sure when that's coming, but that certainly was the goal.
Some food manufacturers have started
Yes.
putting that on, which will really be a wonderful thing for folks because frequently people will look at milk, for instance, and see that it's got sugar in it and think that it's added sugar.
Right, when it's actually the lactose, the naturally
natural
occurring sugar.
Which for somebody with diabetes, you still do want to be paying attention to. But the key thing is looking at what's the nutritional value of that sugar, of that carbohydrate. Is it coming along with other good stuff that our body needs?
Ooh, these look really good.
You did a perfect job on cooking the shells.
Nice they're nice. They're holding together really well. And this, I think, is a case of it kind of sort of matters what kind of pasta you buy. So a lot of times our tendency is just to purchase what's on sale and the least expensive. But sometimes I have found when I've done shells with a generic brand, it's a thinner pasta and they fall apart, something fierce. Whereas these are just holding their shape really, really nice. So going with a better, sometimes it's worth it. So I think we're going to cover these with aluminum foil, and they get tossed into an oven. So I'm going to hunt for some foil in this kitchen. Hold it up
Okay, I've
ahead of
got
time.
one left, one good-sized spoonful.
Oh, well then, yeah.
Should I just sort of tuck it in on the side here?
Yeah, that's oftentimes what I do. It's like when if I've misjudged, then you just kind of like, who was I skimpy on? And who can I add more to? Because that is kind of the hard part about stuffing shells.
You don't really know.
You never really know. So the recipe says approximately 3 tablespoons, but it's like, yeah, don't know if that really works. So these are going to go into a normal oven, 350, for about a half hour, and then at that point they get pulled out, the tin foil is removed, sprinkled with some additional Parmesan cheese, and then just to kind of finish and brown the top. So we're going to throw them in, and then we're going to do the little magic here of television.
Oh, that's going to be so good.
Isn't it?
And not too much oregano. That
Oh, good.
was not-
Phew.
Yeah. Yum. And healthy and good
I know,
for
so
you.
good for you. So we're going to throw those in.
So
And
speaking of the pasta,
yeah,
I'm just going to put a little plug in that pasta is not such a horrific thing. So many people are just so anti-pasta and carbs and all that kind of stuff. And just to point out the fact, oh, that looks beautiful.
yummy. So yeah, whoops, here, I'll move them. Dan's got a great shot here. So yeah, so these are ones that were obviously prepared ahead of time. So they're cooked, ready to rock and roll, and not quite as many veggies in the sauce, but you can get a sense of what this is going to look like when it then browns up. So it's super yummy. So keep talking about pasta. We're going to leave these
so
here.
something like this,
Yeah.
where you've volumized the pasta. So having pasta is not a bad thing.
Right.
But yes, you don't want to be having a whole plate full of spaghetti, that kind of thing. So just wherever you can volumize the pasta with vegetables, whether it be mixing arugula, onions, tomatoes, peppers,
Yep.
all those kinds of things into pasta so that you can be getting the same portion size, but half the amount of pasta.
Got it. I love that. Volumize the pasta.
Volumize the pasta
I'm
with
gonna,
veggies.
I'm going to work
That's
with
right.
that one with veggies.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so
Love making
here,
up words.
I mean, we could even have added more vegetables to the filling here. So we really just kind of
arugula
went
into it
straight.
would be
Yeah, would be
yummy.
really, really nice with that
Peppers.
contrast. So that actual stuffing filling could have had a lot more veggies in it as well. So we were actually pretty conservative
Make
with
it
these.
very holiday-ish with some red peppers and some
Oh,
arugula.
what a nice idea. Oh, great idea.
Yeah.
So we're going to leave these here. We've got the ones that we just, worked on in the oven. And now we're going to turn to breakfast.
Okay.
Yes. So
Fruit compote.
fruit compote. It is behind you, my friend. It is such an easy recipe. And I'm going to start working on preparing these gingerbread pancakes, which are also really, really easy to do. So the
Gingerbread pancakes, what a great idea.
I know, isn't that a fun idea? And it
Yeah.
kind of sort of what makes them gingerbread-y is two magic ingredients, well, 3 magic ingredients. Pumpkin pie spice, so totally one of my all-time favorites. Adding a little bit of molasses instead of using a traditional sugar. And then we're going to be adding some pumpkin, to these as well. And so the pumpkin, there actually isn't that a whole lot of oil in these, and that's they're going to be gingerbread. So I've got a combination of white wheat flour, all-purpose flour, salt, and baking soda, and the pumpkin pie spice. So dry ingredients are going to get mixed in one bowl, wet ingredients in another, just kind of the classic method. And Donna's doing our favorite compote recipe.
This is so good.
Yeah, we love that one. And it's so simple. So that's just my
So
all-purpose
easy.
flour.
3 cups of berries, which is basically this
Whole
package.
bag. I'm going to grab the salt. I'm going to just reach around and add a little bit of salt to this.
And 2 teaspoons of cornstarch. That's going to be the thickener. That's going to thicken it up.
So just a little bit of salt, a little bit of soda.
And then 1.5 tablespoons of maple syrup.
Yeah, and part of me is always on the fence. Like, do you really even need to add any sweetener to the fruit? But
we live in Vermont.
We live in Vermont, so you just do. So I was generous with the pumpkin pie spice. If you don't have, well, I think you can get pumpkin pie spice in the market. It's pretty common. It's really just, when I look at this ingredients in this version, clove, ginger, cinnamon, and nutmeg, that's all mixed together. And so these dry ingredients are going to get mixed up.
Okay.
Tucked aside. Some wet ingredients. So we're going to beat an egg.
Make sure I get my tops together here.
To me, one of the secret ingredients is adding some molasses, so a couple of tablespoons of molasses. This, to me, is what really makes it gingerbread-y.
Yes. Can I steal one of these?
Please, please.
So this just gets all tossed around. And once it cooks, then we can stir it up a little bit more as well. And this just goes in the microwave.
That's it. Yeah, it just microwaves
for 2 minutes.
Ready to go.
So this is a great thing for kids to make.
Oh, what a good idea.
To get kids involved. And you can do it with frozen berries in the wintertime, fresh berries in the summertime.
Yeah, and I was thinking about, if you were, the nice thing with frozen berries is if anybody did any berry picking this season, then just, pull a combination of whatever's in your freezer. So really, really super easy. What do I need here? So, about a half a cup of pumpkin.
So we do this in the microwave on high for 2 minutes. We'll stir it, and then for another about 3 minutes. 2 minutes. Oh, I can't wait to try those.
I know. So this recipe here for the pancakes, I kind of sort of combined 2 recipes from, one of my favorite websites, as you all know, foodhero.org. And so kind of combined, took their gingerbread pancake recipe and then just modified, cut back a little bit on the amount of buttermilk being added and to accommodate for having the moisture from the pumpkin. And so, if you make pancakes at home, you can just kind of sort of gauge as you need to in terms of whether they're too wet or too dry. And
keeping in mind that recipes are a guideline, they are not the law.
Right.
Pretty much stick with it.
So we're going to add the liquid ingredients to the dry ingredients. I'm going to give this a stir.
Ooh, those are going to be really good.
I know. And I'm using an electric skillet, and I'll turn it on in a second. That electric skillets heat up really, really quickly. So
but really important to put pancakes into a hot skillet.
Onto a hot skillet.
If it's not, you have a disaster.
Yes, yeah, you do. It's not pretty. So I'm going to get it started on medium.
And what a great, whether it be Christmas morning or...
I know, because it's just a really fun recipe. So that came together, the batter came together really well. So we're just gonna let this skillet heat up a little bit, and everybody knows the test for a skillet, whether or not it's hot, you need dancing water. So we're gonna wait until the butter needs to melt, and then we'll test it with water to see where it's at, to make it dance. So this is it's just kind of a fun way to then add, so gingerbread for the season, add some pumpkin, and then yes, we have brought some maple syrup for pancakes, but we're also going to have this fruit compote, so to really up the ante on what you're doing for fruit at breakfast time. So this is looking like it's going to be hot.
Looking like it's hot. It is.
Certainly is. It's dancing. So So what I had found when I had made this at home is that these are thick pancakes. So I'm going to spread them out.
Yum.
I
So
know.
they almost get a little cakey-like.
Yeah, yeah, they really do. But that buttermilk, makes them really kind of sort of light. So I'm just going to let these cook for a little bit.
You know what would
Put it
also
down a
be
smidge.
good on that is doing like a fried egg in between two of them, poached egg, whatever.
A gingerbread pumpkin egg sandwich? Is that what you're proposing?
Yeah, it sounds a little crazy,
It
doesn't
does
it, when
sound
you
a
put it all
little crazy,
together?
But there's a possibility there. So the trick with pancakes is not to turn them too soon. So you want to wait until you start to see some bubbles coming up in the middle and the edges get a little brown and beginning to look like they're cooked over. So we're going to let those go for a little bit and then turn them over. So somewhere in the midst of the show there was a WIC code that I totally missed. Maybe we'll pull it up again. There it is. Yay team, because I totally missed it. So there we have. So again, if you're a family participating with the WIC program, watch this show, call in the office, your local office, with this code and a recipe that you think, oh, maybe we're going to try it this month. And that will keep your foods going for the next quarters, for the next 3 months. So this counts as a second nutrition education activity, and we're just so delighted to be able to provide that opportunity for everyone on WIC. So how's that doing? So I think some, doesn't that look, oh my gosh, that looks so good.
And this just continues to thicken up a little as it cools down.
Yay. These are
And it
in
is
there.
really hot.
It's really hot.
You do not want to give this to little chillins right out
No,
of the microwave.
it needs to, yeah, and because as it sits, it is going to continue to thicken just a little bit.
And I'm just breaking up those really big strawberries.
Yeah,
So
and I'm just,
they get
here I
spread
said
out
things cook
amongst
super
it.
quickly, and now these pancakes are going to prove me wrong and take a little longer to cook.
Oh, it smells so yummy.
Doesn't it? I know, I'm being, my senses here with, pumpkin shells and fruit and gingerbread over here. It all smells really
And you
amazing.
can definitely do this without adding the additional syrup into it, because the intensity of that fruit flavor
Right,
is
it's
so
perfect.
yummy. Yeah. I think actually the other time we made it, we did not use the syrup. I
may
feel
not
like you might
have.
have forgotten it or something.
That could be. I've been known to do that. Okay, and I'm flipping and it's working. Hooray, hooray. Is a bit of camera here. Very scary moment.
I could never do that on a camera.
Yay team. So nice and brown on this one side. We're going to let these finish up, and then we're going to be putting them, and you can, I can just see with the buttermilk. I mean, you guys can't see, but those just
The
my
little bubbles in there.
They just poofed right up. Really beautiful. So yay, we're going to get these off so we can see what they look like as we approach the end. Yay, so fun.
Yay.
So eat your veggies. Don't forget your veggies in the month of December.
If you're
It's so
going to a
important.
party and you don't know if there's going to be healthy options there, bring a vegetable platter, offer to bring something, and
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Get
the
'em in
baker in the
there.
crowd, but I actually offered to bring salad to a holiday luncheon so that there'd be something
There you
green and crunchy besides, my baked goods at something. So, yeah, and try some of these sneaky things. So if you've got folks who really aren't necessarily big fans of veggies, then you can sneak them in some different ways. But we're going to put these pancakes onto a plate 'cause I think they're just about done. And because they're looking really pretty fine to me.
top them off with a little bit of this yumminess.
Really, we'll just throw a little of this on top. And there's also some maple syrup here. And we're going to be eating pancakes for dinner. I don't know what the rest of you guys are having, but these are looking pretty good. So thank you all. Next time it'll be January. It'll be a new year. Not quite sure how that's coming around so quickly, but enjoy your veggies. Happy holidays, and we'll see you in January. Thanks, Donna.
Yay.
I don't even know what I want to try first. I'm so excited.